Hello everyone, we're going to be talking today about online reputation. Now, when you first see this title, you may think, well, what does this have to do with healthcare web marketing? Well, your online reputation can literally make or break your healthcare business. A lot of people, when they are going to your website or they are looking for you online or looking for your digital presence, they are determining how well you're providing your services by the customer reviews that you have online. And those show up in places like Yelp, Google search, and then industry specific review sites. Let's take, for example, skilled nursing or long term care or assisted living. You're going to find a lot of reviews in places such as caring.com, a place for mom, skilled nursing review. There's just lots of different review sites depending on the section of healthcare that you're in. If you're in dentistry or podiatry or psychology or psychiatry, there are review sites that we need to locate and include those as part of your online reputation management strategy. And we're going to get into that as we go through this session. So one way to tell if you are having a lot of negative reviews online and it is affecting your reputation is you'll see a drop in your customers and your conversions. So as we go through everything we've talked about up to this point, building out your website, publishing your content, working with your analytics, making sure your SEO is in line, if you have all those things in place, but then you see a drop in your customer base and your conversions, that's a very good way to tell that you have a problem with your online reputation. So the main thing that would constitute a problem is negative reviews. So this is how we're going to overcome that. Now let me tell you, there are lots and lots of companies that will say they can take care of all of your negative reviews online, they can overcome them, and you can pay them hundreds and many times even thousands of dollars, even per month, to overcome the negative reputations. But I want to tell you, really up front, you have the strongest desire to make your company succeed. Nobody is going to have the care and the amount of concern about how well your company is doing as you do. So that's why it's important to not only learn everything that we have learned up to this point, but to also learn how to manage your online reputation. And that's what we're going to get into. One of the very best ways to set up an alert where you can monitor things that are being said about your website is to go to Google Alerts, and all you have to do is simply create an alert about, and this is where you're going to enter your URL, and this will set up a notification for you so that anytime somebody mentions or there's a comment or there's a negative review or something comes up, you'll be alerted and you can address it. This is about 50% of the battle whenever it becomes to online reputation management is knowing and being aware when something is said and then being able to respond so that you can overcome those negative responses. Let's talk about some specific strategies. I just mentioned overcoming the negative reviews, and first of all, you have to be aware of those and recognize where they're coming from. But one other thing that we want to do actually first is we want to implement and publicize your policies and procedures for your website. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go in and write a bunch of legalese and legal gobbledygook about policies and procedures. You can purchase policies and procedures for online websites, and let me tell you, it's very valuable for you to do this because technically, if you don't have these things published on your website somewhere, you're setting yourself up for a huge potential risk. There's a lot of liability involved if you don't have these things on your website. This is a violation of privacy. You need to have that included on your website. You need to have a no harassment policy, and you need to have no discrimination. When you have those things plugged into the footer of your website, the footer is just the very bottom section, and you can go on to any website and look, scroll down to the bottom, and they have that two or three different headings where you can see the things that are actually on there that are policies. Let me show you an example of what that looks like. Let's take, for example, healthcare web marketing. You can scroll down to the footer on the home page, and you can see these policies: privacy policy, disclaimer, terms and conditions. There's also an earnings disclaimer. So if we open up privacy policy, you can see the very detailed information that covers our privacy policies and procedures. Then we have the same thing for each of these others: a disclaimer, terms and conditions. All of that has to be on your website, and there's a very good reason for that. One of the reasons is obviously legal. We have to have those policies and procedures on there so that if somebody attempts to sue you for a privacy violation or a terms of condition violation, you've got those on your website. And again, you don't have to write these, and it's not terribly expensive to actually just do a Google search for website policies and procedures, and then you can shop and purchase those and tweak them so that they fit specifically to your healthcare business. It's not overly complicated. You can just purchase them and then plug them in on your WordPress admin location so that they go into the footer of your website, and then you're covered. So the first part is legal, but the next section, or the next reason we want those policies and procedures, is so that we can legally fix and resolve those negative reviews. One of the things, or one of the ways that we fix negative reviews is, yes, you can try to remove them, but I'll be completely honest with you. It's very difficult to get negative reviews removed from review sites and social media, because the way that the federal regs are written, they're in favor of the people who are posting and not the actual company or healthcare company. I know that sounds unfair, but it's just the way that the laws are written currently. So it's definitely in favor of the people who post, which is why you need to have those policies and procedures on your website so that you have at least some ability to overcome the negative reviews. So if it's a harassment review, or if it's a violation of privacy review, or something that is legally, something that is based in a legal violation, then you can say, look, my policies and procedures are here. I want this removed. So you can overcome some of those, although it is very difficult. But the main thing we're trying to do in our online reputation management strategy is we want to address each of the negative reviews. Many people will tell you that responding to each and every negative review is a waste of time, but that's not true in healthcare. Healthcare is a different type of business, as you well know. And when you have people online who are making negative comments about your healthcare business, if you go in and respond and do it in a professional, non-attacking manner, just a way of trying to solve the issue, what you're doing is you're proving to all the people who are looking at the comments, you're proving to them that you actually care and that you want to resolve these issues. You have to look at it as almost being free advertisement, or a free way of proving to all the eyeballs that are on your site that you are caring, you're engaged, you're concerned. And this, trust me, this will set you apart from so many other providers who do absolutely nothing about negative reviews. This is why you set up alerts. This is why you are aware when the negative comments are made, so that you can go in and respond. Um, it's extremely valuable to your company to do this. When I say it's extremely valuable to your company, let me give you an example. On Facebook, and typically Facebook and Google Plus and a couple of other platforms are the places where you can respond directly to the negative comments. This is where, if you have a social following on your social media platform and people are making negative comments, and then you respond and you get the issue resolved, then people are likely to see that. They'll see your engagement, and that's how the value comes in. But let me put that into more specific terms. In Facebook, you have a star system for your business pages. People can rank you from 1 star, I think it's all the way up to 4 stars. I don't believe there's 5 now. But those stars on Facebook, those stars on a Google page or a Google Plus page, those indicate a definite dollar amount or a return on your investment. So whenever you have a star ranking, let's say it's a 1 to a 4 on whatever social media platform you're talking about, there was actually a study done that said for private practice physicians, those 1 star improved rankings, and I believe it was in Google, 1 star improved translated close to an extra $100,000 a year in actual revenue that's recognized from those stars. The reason is the likes and the positive reviews and the overcoming of the negative reviews, those can be considered the currency on web marketing or on social media. People put so much value into what other people are saying, and online, those customer reviews are very trusted. That's why I say there's a definite return on investment for this. It's not just, hey, overcome your negative reviews. This is actually dollar improvement, revenue improvement. When your stars and your rankings and your customer improvements go up and you get those numbers increased and that volume up, you will see a significant improvement in your overall revenue. This is the other strategy that we want to incorporate in our overall online reputation strategies. We want to make sure that we use positive reviews from customers, patients, in order to overcome the negative reviews on places where we can't necessarily respond. A typical example is going to be like if you took caring.com or a place for mom, those places have tons of comments that people go in and put, and a lot of times they're negative, and you can't respond directly to those because the person's not identified. Whereas, like on a Facebook or a Google, you can simply email that person or respond back and let them know you're trying to get this resolved. But on these other review sites where you can't respond, our strategy needs to be this: you need to go on the offense. So the first strategy I gave you was a defensive strategy. This is an offense strategy. What we do is we locate the patients, the customers who are happy with our services, and we do a couple of 3 things to get them to write reviews on these specific websites that are related to your particular healthcare industry. One is you create an instruction sheet on how that person can log in, how they can go to those sites like Facebook, like Yelp, Google, whatever it is. You give them a specific instruction sheet, make it as simple as possible. All it has to be is just go in to this website, give them the link, search for your company, and then write review. But if you have it in writing and you hand it to the person as they are either checking out of your business or they're leaving, then they will be much more likely to write a review for you. It's been said that people don't typically write reviews unless they are asked. Another way that you can do this is capture your customer's email address. You can do that in your admission paperwork. You can do it in uh, discharge paperwork, but at some point, ask your customer for their email address and then simply send them a link online to their email address. This is actually a much easier way for the person to respond and go in and write a positive review. But if you're proactive and you take the initiative in doing these 2 things, what will happen is you'll push down all those negative reviews that are online or that may be impacting your reputation, If you can get your customers to do this consistently, and it does take manpower and some hours. You have to have somebody who's devoted to doing this, but trust me, this will bring so much value to your company. It will help with SEO. I'm not going to go into the details of why. It will help with your traffic. It will help with your overall online reputation. It will result in more people who trust you and feel like you're doing a good job whenever they can see these reviews consistently coming from your business. But you have to take the initiative and do this. Now, understand this. What I've just told you in just this section alone, the online reputation management, this is worth thousands of dollars to your company, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you will take the responsibility and implement these strategies, you will see a return on your investment very quickly. I hope that you have really taken to heart all of these different training sessions. Remember, I said initially, you have to treat this as a college course. You have to look at each one of these sections as a tool that builds upon itself, and then utilize every single strategy, every single thing that we have mentioned. You will see return on investment and your healthcare company will begin to thrive. Now, how do I know this? How do I know this actually works? Is this just theory? Are these just things that I came up with? Absolutely not. I've actually implemented these strategies and made a lot of money for a healthcare company. I've done it individually, I've done it for companies, and I know that this works. These things are specifically for healthcare because, like I said early on, healthcare is a different industry than most other industries out there. There's so many things that you have to take into consideration, and that's the way that I built this training is with all those things in mind. So I hope that this blesses you. I hope it blesses your company. I hope you make tons of money and you are extremely successful with all of these strategies. And I appreciate you being a customer of Healthcare Web Marketing.